Morning everyone. So today we will discuss about the topic respiration in organism. Okay, we all know that we breathe. Actually every living organisms breathe, and breathing is a part of respiration. We need energy to perform our daily activities, like we need energy while we are eating, we are running, we are sleeping, or we perform every function, so we need energy for that. But the thing is that from where does this energy comes from? This energy comes from respiration. Like all living organisms respire to get energy. Now, as we all know that cell is the basic structural and functional unit of life, so each cell performs respiration. So the process of breakdown of food in the cell with the release of energy is called respiration, cellular respiration. And cellular respiration takes place in the cells of all organisms. Now, there is also a type of respiration. There are two types of respiration, aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. First one, let's discuss about aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration is the food which is in the form of a glucose. In the presence of oxygen, it breaks down into carbon dioxide, water, and energy is released. Aerobic respiration is a respiration where the oxygen is present. This is the chemical equation of the aerobic respiration. That is, this is the chemical formula of glucose, C6H12O6, and in the presence of oxygen, it breaks down into carbon dioxide, water, and energy is released. Now, next come to anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration is the absence of oxygen. The food, glucose, it breaks down into alcohol, carbon dioxide, and energy is released. So, in anaerobic respiration, the absence of oxygen is absent. Anaerobic respiration takes place in the unicellular organisms like yeast. Yeast are anaerobes. Yeast respire anaerobically and yield alcohol. That's why the yeast are used for making wine and beer. Another example of anaerobic respiration is like it also takes place in the muscle cells while we do some heavy exercise. When we do some heavy exercise, in the absence of oxygen, the glucose breaks down into lactic acid and energy is released. Actually, during heavy exercises, there is a demand of oxygen increases, and the oxygen supply is like limited. So anaerobic respiration takes place. The anaerobic respiration takes place in the muscle cells to fulfill the demand of energy. So at last, the lactic acid is produced and energy is released. The accumulation of lactic acid, that's why after heavy exercises it causes muscle cramps. So after hot water bath or body massage, we get a relief. This is because the oxygen, like body massage and hot water bath increases the blood circulation. That's why it gives us relief from the pain. So the increased oxygen results in the breakdown of lactic acid and again carbon dioxide is released along with water. So this was all about anaerobic respiration. Next, let's come to breathing. Now breathing is two types. There are two types of breathing, inhalation and exhalation. Inhalation is where we take in oxygen into the body, and exhalation is we give out air which is rich in carbon dioxide. And this inhalation exhalation is a continuous process and it goes out all the time throughout the life. Actually, the breathing is one inhalation plus one exhalation. This is breathing. And the number of times a person breathes in a minute is termed as breathing rate. In 1 minute, how many times we breathe is a breathing rate of a person. An adult at rest breathes 15 to 18 times in a minute. And while during heavy exercises or some heavy workout, our breathing increases up to 25 times per minute. Now, what do we breathe out? Well, the percentage of oxygen and carbon dioxide in inhaled and exhaled air. When we inhaled air, there is a maximum amount of oxygen get into the lungs, and a very little amount of carbon dioxide is also there. But while exhaling, as you can see, the percentage of oxygen is reduced and carbon dioxide is increased. So while exhalation process, we exhaled, or we give out more percentage of carbon dioxide. So we breathe in oxygen and we breathe out carbon dioxide. Now, this is the human respiratory system. I have drawn a fair diagram of human respiratory system. As you can see, this is the passage from where the oxygen, air which is rich in oxygen comes in, and then it moves, it comes into the trachea, and then it goes to the lungs. And the air which is rich in carbon dioxide, it again moves out from the body. And there is a mechanism in breathing. This is a diagram, and this is a chest cavity. There is a particular type of mechanism while breathing. Now we will discuss about how the breathing mechanism works. As you can see in this diagram, this is the inhalation process. You can see in this diagram that how the mechanism works. What is the movement of these parts, of respiratory parts? As you can see that air which is rich in oxygen, it is coming in, it is drawn in, and this is a chest cavity. These are the ribs. As you can see, the ribs moves out, and you can see the movement, the shape of the diaphragm becomes. It goes down, towards downward. So both the ribs moves out and diaphragm goes down. This results to the chest cavity size increases. So the chest cavity size increases and more air which is rich in oxygens get into it. Next, let's come to the exhalation process. As you can see, the chest cavity, the size of the chest cavity decreases. You can see the diaphragm. It is moving back. And ribs also, moves back. And the size of the chest cavity decreases, and the air which is rich in carbon dioxide, it forced out from the body. So in the breathing mechanism, in the inhalation process, you can see the chest cavity size increases, which allowing the air, more and more air rich in oxygen to comes in. And in the exhalation process, you can see the different parts, how it is moving back, and the size of the chest cavity decreases, and the air forcing out from the body. So inhalation and exhalation process requires inhalation and exhalation process. It goes like this. We breathe in and we breathe out. So as we breathe in and we breathe out, the size of the chest cavity also increases and decreases.